Even in ancient times, sages drew attention to the fact that female and male psychology are different. Of course, it is impossible to distinguish a person with a truly masculine style of behavior or a truly feminine one. However, it is possible to identify certain traits characteristic of representatives of a certain sex. And today I will tell you what are the incredible differences between women and men. If you want to know even more psychological facts, you can look in our playlist. So, dependence on other people's opinions differs between the sexes. Did you know that men are not as dependent on their surroundings? That's why they are more likely to take decisive action. Women are more inclined to evaluate their actions, repeatedly playing in their heads all the possible options for the development of events and their behavior in case of different outcomes of the case, anticipating the reaction of people around them. In such moments, women can even talk to themselves. Sexual activity differs between men and women, of course. This is directly related to hormonal processes in the organisms and to the social role that men and women have been destined to play since ancient times. Man nature has assigned the role of a continuer of the family. Therefore, it is very important for him to react quickly to perform sexual intercourse. Woman is aimed at carrying and giving birth to children, so more carefully looking for a partner, slower to decide on a quick desire for intimacy. Yes, this does not happen for everyone, only 90% think about it. Another part of women live for themselves and all their intimate desires are quickly realized. I think you too, as well, as I met such women. Women prefer communication, men like to be in themselves more. Even solving problems usually goes the same way, a woman seeks help, advice and support from friends and loved ones. A man closes himself off, digests everything in silence. On the one hand, we can say that women do the right thing, because close people can advise a good way to solve the problem, but if we return to the first distinctive feature, women are emotionally immersed in the problem. This is not very right. It is worth taking the example of men, not to think up the development of the problem in their heads, and quickly and accurately solve it. After all, friends or acquaintances can advise a bad option with a sad ending. From this woman will be even worse, she will be even more immersed in the problem and will be sad. I think you know that it's important for a man to achieve his goals quickly. A woman is not so impulsive, she knows how to wait. At the same time, a man prefers to go to the goal of the intended path. The slightest deviations can take a man out of the working rut. A woman is able to smoothly adjust to the situation, scrolling through different options for the development of events ahead. In this I very much support women, it is a great quality. After all, they will always find a way out of any situation and come to their goal gradually. Women are more emotionally open than men. It is the ability to express their emotions that distinguishes women from unemotional men. It is difficult for a woman to restrain her emotions. Often this behavior is due to hormonal processes in the female body on different days of the menstrual cycle. Men do not have such a regular change in hormones, so their behavior and emotional state is more stable. Is this a good thing? With certainty I can say that yes. Men very much like to see female emotions, and they at such moments feel like males. Of course, women also like to feel like little children in the arms of a strong and emotionally calm man. Man and woman look for different things for themselves in communication with colleagues, friends. Woman pays more attention to the fact that in his team or company of friends to have support, to establish mutual understanding. A man at the subconscious level is more focused on being the first and the best. This style of behavior affects the preferences. Usually men do not like to watch programs and movies based on the Nalai's feelings and relationships. It is much more interesting to watch a soccer match, boxing, or an adventure movie. A woman, on the other hand, will watch a melodrama or a show with great pleasure, carefully watching the building of relationships between people. The thinking processes of men and women are different. Men usually think on a large scale and are well oriented in space. A man's thinking is more precise and subject to the general laws of logical thinking. A woman thinks often completely irrational from the point of view of logic, relying more on her own feelings and intuition. And if at the root of the thinking of a man is the word rationality, a woman in this place is found the word emotionality. It is because of this difference between men and women that misunderstandings arise. However, it is often this difference that makes women's thinking more advantageous and useful than men's, when it is necessary to consider not only the situation itself, but also everything that directly or indirectly relates to it. Men and women have a number of physiological differences, including in the nervous system. For example, on average, men are larger than women, so they have a larger brain volume on average. However, there is no direct correlation between this indicator and mental processes. Scientists analyzed more than 1,400 MRI images and came to the conclusion that physiologically the human brain does not belong to any clear category. The difference between them is minimal. At the level of functioning, there are differences. For example, women and men respond differently to stimuli. During stress reactions, men have higher levels of testosterone, while women have higher levels of estrogen and oxytocin. Because of this hormonal distribution, males are more likely to respond to stress with aggression and force than females. Men like to dominate and take risks, while women like to be submissive and cautious. Men are indeed more inclined to take risks, especially at a young age. A possible reason is again testosterone, which affects the desire to dominate, socialize, and be sexually active. As testosterone declines with age, men may become more relaxed. But testosterone is not just a male hormone. In women, it is also produced and provokes assertiveness and aggression. The mechanism of the psyche is the same. People who like to take risks have high scores on 3 personality traits: impulsiveness, aggressiveness, and sociability. These were the determinants of risk-taking in both men and women. But testosterone levels in girls are on average lower than in guys, and the socially approved female image includes meekness and a desire to hide behind a man's strong back, so risk-taking and dominance are massively reserved for men. The sexual desire of men and women is virtually the same. Surveys estimate that men can think about sex an average of 8 times a day and women 6. And women also enjoy sex outside of relationships, too, and are willing to admit it when they don't feel judged. Psychologist Helen Fisher found out how people really feel about family issues. It turned out that men in relationships more often want children and tend to choose family over spending time with friends, while women value personal space more. The desire to create a family was the same for both sexes. It was expressed by 63% of men and 63% of women. Today, the leading view in psychology is that every person is different. In particular, there is no data that any of the methods in psychotherapy is more suitable for men or women. In this matter, everything is also strictly individual. The division into male and female psychology is unfounded. There is simply human psychology. And the sooner society gets rid of stereotypical thinking, the freer and safer life will become.